Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Wealthy Monday. And I'm excited for this conversation. It's going to be real, raw, vulnerable, all things Tasha. All the questions that I have received, or as many of them as I can get through this morning, I'm going to be answering. So as you're joining, if you could just please say hello, say good morning, love on each other the way we do. Gonna be answering the questions that I received, which let's see. Oh my goodness. I I think I asked last week or maybe the week before. I was like, okay, what would you want to know about me? Like if we were able to sit and have a cup of coffee, what questions would you ask? And I got some questions. I got some really good questions. One quick second. And so I'm going to be answering this morning. So as you come on in, just give each other, hey, good morning. Give each other some love. I'm going to dive right into this. I'm going to start with the very first question, which got typed while I was live last week. And it was all about how I met Tony. How did I meet my husband, the love of my life, my dream come true, all things. And so I'm just going to tell you that the short answer to that question is we met on a dating app called elitesingles.com. But that's not how we met, right? The truth, thank you. So the truth is that is the short answer, but that's not the real answer. In order for me to tell you how I met my husband, I have to go back in time. So those of you that have read my book, Deservingness, you will know that I went through I had a 3-year relationship. It ended really badly, the kind of ending where you have to leave the country to save your life. So I run away and I went to Costa Rica and I sat there and I just really had this heart-to-heart conversation with God, myself, like, how is this happening to me? Fast forward, I do not date for 2 years. I really sit there and just try to figure out me and try to figure out why this keeps happening. And in that 2-year period, I figured out a pattern for me in relationships. This was always what happened. I was either in relationships with men who were unavailable emotionally or would abandon me. Right? So that was my thing. And it just, in this 2-year period, I put all the puzzle pieces together because here's what I realized. I was dating all these different men with different names, different body sizes, different everything, but literally the same person over and over and over again. And so it became very clear real quickly for me that I was in this repeated pattern. And I'm answering this question about how I met Tony and about relationships, obviously, but the same is true with money. You want to pause for a moment and look at your patterns with money because it will tell you clearly what's going on. So mine was choosing unavailable men and men who were unavailable emotionally or would just abandon me, right? And so even though they were all different, the thing they had in common was me continuously showing up in these experiences and attracting these experiences that would end with this result. So right? Yeah. So I took 2 years and I did the work. After 2 years, I decided, okay, if there's one thing I know, if I want to change something in my life, I have to get support. 2 years, think about this, 2 years of me with everything I know, sitting with myself, processing it all, doing all the work. And I still knew at the end of the day, I was not going to get where I wanted to get to without some help. So I hired a coach. And I worked with a coach for a year, literally from the time we started till our last call. I believe I met Tony a few weeks after our last call in that 1-year period. And in that year, another thing happened for me. I had been working on deservingness. When I left that relationship, I figured out it was because I had serious deservingness issues. So I'd been working on deservingness. I mean, we had COVID then, and I was sitting at home just doing all the work on myself every day. And so a man showed up. Right? And I was like, yes, this is the one. This is it. And sure enough, he showed up to give me the final deservingness test. Like, are you going to settle for a 7 or an 8 out of 10? And with a little suffering sprinkled on top, right? Because he was unavailable, emotionally unavailable. And so here I was yet again, and I was like, no, I'm passing this test once and for all. So we parted ways, and I sat with myself and I said, you know what? It's a 10 out of 10 or nothing. And 2 weeks later, I met Tony. And so that's really how I met Tony. Yes, Elite Singles was the vehicle, but I had been on Elite Singles for a year, right? Until I did the work, until I became deserving of a man like that. No website was going to work, right? So that's my answer. That's my answer about how I met Tony. Okay, the next question here is, how do you manage your energy in relationships? How do you manage your energy in relationships? So this is such a good question, because for me, my energy is my fuel. It's like oxygen for me. It's a life force. And the same way I would protect my life, I would protect my body, I would protect myself, I protect my energy. I have a lot of really strong boundaries around my energy. And I think the greatest boundary is that I am uber selective of who gets access to my energy. Now, I'm a mentor, so people pay me to have access, right? And so I think what I've done is brilliant because I've created work that allows me to attract people who want to elevate, who want to evolve, who want to be their best selves. And so even in the context of, people pay for my time, my energy, proximity to me, it's still people that are in alignment with who I want to be and the energy that I want to foster, right? But make no mistake, the biggest boundary for me is if you are not of the energetic frequency that is aligned to where I want to be or where I want to go to, bye. Straight up, goodbye. It's over. I don't mess with that. Don't play around with it. Like, and relationships you have to understand levels of relationships, right? So there are people, I say this all the time. Access to closest to me is priceless. It's almost not available for sale, right? But then you have, okay, then there's this layer and this layer. And then you just have to know, okay, super strong boundary for you. Like, we can talk, we can be friends, we can be acquaintances, we can do whatever, but you're way out there in my boundary circle, right? So for me, that is the greatest, Rhonda, the greatest thing is protecting your energy. I also take a lot of time to refuel, renew, replenish my energy. I train my family and my friends, even my clients know. I like first thing in the morning is my time. My husband knows, my husband tells everyone, like, don't call her, don't message her. He doesn't even try talking to me because that's my refueling time. Or if I travel and I go away, you'll see me sometimes just, off out there in the world by myself. It's my refueling time. So I take a lot of time to refuel myself so I have the strength to uphold my boundaries and protect my energy. Okay, the other question was, how do you play? What does play look like for Tasha? Travel, 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 travel. I love to explore. I love being out in nature. I think a lot of people will say they feel closest to God maybe when they go to church. I feel closest to God when I'm on the top of a mountain, out in nature, looking out, like for as far as my eyes can see, just the beauty of nature. That is when I feel the most connected to all that there is, all the power of the universe, all of God's presence. That's it for me. So it's play, it's refueling, it's reconnecting, it's all the things, right? Some people, it's the beach. Other people, it's walking in a park. For me, it's for sure elevated on a mountain, right? Looking out at nature. I also like something that's play for me is when I travel, I'm the most present when I travel. Like, I take in every single color. I remember the first time I took my husband to Jamaica, and we were just driving on a road, in the mountainside, right? And I stopped in the middle of everything, single lane road. I stopped and I was like, oh my gosh, Tony, look at the moss on the stone over there on the side of the road. And he was just like, what? He literally said, can you please tell me how to do that? Like, teach me. How do you get so into it? And what are you seeing? And how do you feel it like that? But that's me. That's play for me. As I become totally present, I shut the entire world out and I play. I just turn into little girl Tasha, right? Playing for me is also visualizing. I'm an only child, in case you didn't know that. So I'm an only child. And one of the things that has really developed since my childhood is I had to entertain myself. So I learned to what we call visualize. I used to just fantasize. I'd close my eyes, I'd be off in the woods, sitting by myself all day and just daydreaming. That's play for me. So visualizing is play for me. Okay, next question. What's your ideal day? So my ideal day is I open my eyes. While I'm in bed, I open my eyes, I pray a gratitude prayer. I just give God thanks for all of the amazing things that come to mind in the moment. I visualize, like something that I am creating, that I'm putting myself in the experience of. Then I get out of bed and I go exercise. This is my ideal day. It's not necessarily what I do every day. This would be my ideal day. I did go work out this morning though. So I go work out, I come home, I spend an hour to 2 hours immersing myself in my spiritual work. That looks like right now I am reading the Bible. I've never read the entire Bible. So I'm reading the Bible. I'm reading The Science of Becoming Wealthy. I journal every day. I sit and I visualize again. I just kind of that's my spiritual time, right? I give myself as much of it as I can possibly manage. I have my coffee and then I come out in the world and I contribute. I give back, I share, I ask God to just channel through me, and I come do work. And then I'll say that on my ideal day, that's about 3 hours. And then I finish. I might spend the afternoon reading. I love to read. I love to learn new things about the work that I'm doing, spirituality, how to make this even better, faster, right? So I'm learning that for myself and then sharing with all of you. And then it's dinner and Tony time. So that's how my life goes, right? When Tony is home, we're snuggling, watching TV. When Tony's not home, we're on the phone every single night. The goddesses who have traveled with me, they know, these are my 8 o'clock I'm done. That's my bedtime. And so it's Tony time. So that's what my ideal, she's a Virgo. I am for sure a Virgo, very planned, very organized, very, I love the same thing every day. I love it. Patterns. I love it. That's my ideal day. Someone asked about passive income things I have tried that did not work out. So I won't say failed, but passive income opportunities that I've pursued that didn't work out. Well, number one was network marketing. And even though network marketing is a lot of work to create success, in my mind, I saw it as ultimately you get to this point where it's passive, right? So for me, I was doing all that to generate passive income someday. Well, it didn't work for me because reason number one, I shared with my husband at the time that I was going to be doing network marketing, and he was asking me, how much do you think you can make? And I told him, excuse me, and he said, you've lost your mind. You're crazy. You've lost your mind. Now, I told him I think I could make $250,000 a month. At the time, he was making 6 figures with a very corporate job that he had been doing for a long time. He had climbed the corporate ladder. Here I was going to be selling lotions and potions and telling him I was going to make $250,000. He shut that down so fast. And again, bless his heart, love him and forgive him. But he was just coming from his own paradigm, his own limitation, his own what he saw was possible. The greatest tragedy in that moment was not what he said, but it was that I took it on, right? I believed it. And so in no time, all the success that I was having in that field just fizzled away and I gave up. So that was number one, and that's why it didn't work. And number two, I went down the road of trading options. Here is how that worked. I did it because I literally had some instructions on what to do, and I wrote easy money. Literally easy money, passive income. And the people that were in my life at the time, that was really the way they saw it, was this is just easy. It's passive. You do a few trades a day and you make a shit ton of money, right? And so it's like, yeah, but here's why it didn't work for me. I abdicated my financial responsibility and I gave it over to other people. And I was like, you do it. You're better at this. And this was all, I'm going to tell you the truth, money traumas for me, right? Remember, if you know my story, I had to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And a big part of that was this trauma that would reoccur in my mind saying, you're not good with money. Look at what happened in the past. So whenever there was large sums of money, I would abdicate my responsibility and believe that other people would be better with it than I was, right? So $175,000 later, lost, gone overnight. That's what happened there. Okay. What's working for me right now? Passive income, two things, real estate. And that was one of my goals, was I really wanted to own property that the rental income would exceed the mortgage and the money would just be extra money that came to me without any work, any more time. And also I have some investments that the way they are invested generate passive income for me monthly. All right. So that's those two. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? I would live on an island in the Mediterranean. If my husband would go for it, I'd be there right now. That's where I would be. Oh my gosh, the entire Mediterranean lifestyle is just food for my soul. It feels so pure. I'm sure everywhere has its stuff going on, right? But for me, and I've traveled all over the world, I've traveled extensively. Something about that place, though, just it feeds me. It feels really pure, clear, good. I love it. I want more. Okay. This question was very deep. If God said, Tasha, I want to use you as a vessel to bring people to my kingdom by telling your story, what would you do? If God said that, like woke me up and said, Tasha, I want to use you as a vessel to bring people to my kingdom by telling your story. And this was such a good question for me because my heart just filled and I was like, I do that. That is exactly what I do. Those of you that know me well, you know I say this often. I literally, one of my prayers every day, every morning, especially when I have calls and I'm going to support people, God, use me. Speak through me, like dial Tasha all the way down to zero, human Tasha all the way down to zero, and just turn you up to overflowing and just use me. Speak through me. Anything that you would have me do so that the work that I'm here to do happens and people's lives are transformed. They get to experience abundance. They get to understand the truth of the power that we have, that you've given to us. Then use me to do that. So I'm a yes, and I tell all the stories. I feel like sometimes a little bit too much, but I already do that. I have been saying yes. I'm always a yes, right? Okay. Somebody else said, if not this, if I wasn't doing this work, then what would you do? What is something else I would do that I would have fun, I would love? And the answer is this is the only thing that I would do, because I'm very clear on why I'm here. I'm very clear on my purpose. I'm very clear on my life's work. I'm very clear. I'm so clear. There's really no option for me. And no matter what the container looks like, this work where I allow myself to just be a channel for God, universe, source, for the betterment of others, is the thing that I said yes to when I came into this life. In fact, when I met my husband and we were dating, one of the things that he said that, like, I was like, you're the one. He said, it's very clear to me that I'm here to support you in advancing in the mission that you're here to do. And I was like, you get it, you understand. So in my prior marriage, big part of the divorce was you need to go get a job, right? My husband is like, no, it's very clear you're here to do big work. And my role, it's very clear my role is to support you in fulfilling your purpose, right? So, yeah. Yeah. So I see all the comments going on. So maybe to be fair, what I would do is I would probably work a little different. Right now, I have so many ways that I serve. If I could change anything, I would change it to I would do retreats because I think women desperately need to get away from everyday life so that we can reconnect, refuel, repower up, like remember the truth. We need time away. It's not going to happen in your everyday environment. So I would take women on more retreats, and I would serve, in a way that I say high value clients, like the women who honestly truly get this work, who understand it, who are diehards about it like me. That's what I would do. I would be super selective, and I would just be like, that's it. That's my focus. That would be the difference, right? So I hope that answered all of your questions. And now I have a question for all of you. So get ready. I want to ask you, how would you like to learn the exact mindset, money, and energy shifts that you need to make to normalize $20,000 a month or more consistently? How would you like to learn the mindset, money, and energy shifts that you need to make to normalize $20,000 or more consistently every month with ease? And here's why I'm asking that question. I realize over the last, month and a half, I've been sitting with, you know what, Tasha? It is time. There are women in this community. There are women who are going to hear my voice, who you can make $20,000 a month consistently. You're just not there yet. You're not there, but it's not that I need to convince you you can do it. You know you can do it. You also know, like the questions that you've asked me, you also know you're going to need a mindset change. You're going to need to make some different money moves. You're going to need to shift up your energy. So who I would jump for joy. So here's where this is coming from. A few months ago, I shared with my goddesses, I literally fell to my kitchen floor in just a deep cry for help. I was like, you know what, God, I have a successful business and I'm grateful, but I know that it can be easier. I know it can be. I know it can be easier. I know I can have more fun. I know it can feel more fulfilling, and I know it can be even more profitable. And so in my cry to God with that prayer, I literally got a blank sheet of paper and started writing out what God had as the answer for me. In getting the answer, I realized I need to teach differently. You know how I roll, right? So I figure it out for myself and then I come back and I come share with you. So Darlene says, I would jump for joy. But what I want to know is anybody kind of feeling that right now? Like almost like you're at the point, the energy out there is weird as heck. There's so much distraction. There's so much overwhelm. There's so much fear. It's like, it's heavy, And I feel like what I'm sensing is we know we can do these things, but like there's a lot going on. And we need some massive realignment, like get me back on track, Tasha, because I've gone off the rails. Can anybody relate to that? Is there anybody on here watching that you're like, it's too much negative noise? Yeah, it's a lot. Not only negative noise, but just the energy, right? That's why I say we need some energy shifts. We need some serious mindset protection around this. Yeah, Latasha says my whole world has changed. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So ladies, this is what's going to be different this time. I want to invite you to the 3-day Wealth with Ease activation. and it's an activation. It's not a masterclass. It's not just come listen to me, I'm going to teach. It truly is, I want to activate the version of you that can make 20K. No matter what's going on in the economy, no matter what's going on in news. Actually, you need this more than any other time. You need to be cocooned in a conversation that will support you to have the goals that you want. I know I need it. And I feel like we all need that too, right? So the Wealth with Ease activation experience, it's going to be 3 days instead of 5 this time. And it's all about activating the version of you that can have it. Ladies, I want to take you to the place where, and I'm going to say some harsh words. So caution, get ready, trigger alert, right? In these 3 days, I want you to come out of it with the version of you that has absolutely abandoned and died to hustle and hard work. Like that version of you gets left behind after the 3 days. Like we're done with her. I want you to come out of these 3 days where you're going to take the rest of the year choosing to trust and to allow your faith to create the results that you want that will bring you the 20K more than you're going to continue to rely on hustle. The world is not changing. It has changed. We need our spirituality more than ever. We need to be acting from spiritual truths more than ever. Right? That's right. Destroy that part of me. Where do I sign up? So I want to get you back to feeling clear, grounded, in control. Another thing that we need as we go into the rest of this year and building our businesses, you're either going to put your head in the sand or we're going to cocoon and go for it. Right? I want to take you to this place where you experience yourself choosing to tap into your feminine energy and your feminine superpower. Ladies, you are leaving money on the table, and you're leaving money on the table that you can have with ease because you're operating too much in your masculine energy. I had a whole call last week with my goddesses, and it was just mind-blowing because I can't say this enough. You have a power that you're not accessing enough. In this 3 days, that is what I'm going to activate. I want you to actually come out of the 3 days and be like, game over. I'm choosing feminine energy or nothing. Feminine superpower or nothing, right? And last but not least, I want you to come out thinking, I deserve wealth with ease. Too many of us are still in that conversation of struggling with deservingness. It has to stop. We have to own. It's like I told you how I met Tony. I got to the point where I owned, I deserve this amazing relationship. And then I got it. I deserve wealth with ease. That is where I want to take you. So if you know, and I'm just going to say this real direct, give me 3 days. I'm going to up-level your wealth mindset. I'm going to help you remove the top 2 blocks that are still plaguing you when it comes to money. And I'm going to show you the 1, 2, 3 steps to tap into your feminine superpower so you can create what I call financial independence, but with ease, right? 20K a month is a good starting point. Let's get there and go from there. 20K a month consistently, and let's get to that, and then we go from there, right? So those of you that you know, like Tasha, that's me. I know I can make 20K a month. I know I can. If you're not there yet, then this conversation, you might not be ready for it, and that's okay. But if inside of you, I want the women who know that you can do it, I'm going to invite you to come do this activation. I have made it paid. You know, in the past, it's always been free. I've made it paid because this is kind of the look, and it's $8, just to be clear with you. But I realize that when there is no financial exchange, it's just conversations that we keep coming to have, but there's no transformation. Right? So I'm being very clear. Who am I calling? The women who are listening to me. You know you can make 20K a month. You know you need a mindset shift. You need an energy shift. You need to do some things different with money so you can get there. Then this is for you. Right? So I'm going to ask you to type the word ease in the comments. Type the word ease, and that is going to, interesting. Interesting what's happening today. Yeah, type the word ease in the comment. You know how to spell ease. Go ahead and type the word ease in the comments. It's going to take you to Facebook Messenger. You can just click the link and register right there. Everyone watching, go register. Type the word ease in the comments. You'll get in your DM, you'll get a link to register for $888. And then you can, of course, you know how I roll, the VIP. There'll be a VIP option. Take it. Take it. I was telling my good friend last week, normalize every chance you have to say to God, universe, source, I am wealthy. This is normal for me. I'm always VIP, right? Take every chance you get to do that. So go ahead and type ease. I will see you all registered, and we're going to mark off our calendars March 17th, 18th, and 19th. Those 3 days. Give me 3 days. Give me those 3 days. 17th, 18th, and 19th, 12 Eastern for an hour. Watch me. Watch this space. Just watch this space. It's next level where I'm going with these teachings now. All right. I love you all. Have a great Monday and a great rest of your week. And I'll see you next Monday. Bye, everyone.